Hi, this is Shimelle with this week's Sketch to Scrapbook page. Just wanted to show you where I'm starting here. I've got a rough sketch with a single 4x6 landscape photo, and then this week I'm using mostly die cuts and little pieces and a few scraps of pattern paper. So I'm going to walk you through how I put this page together. So I'm starting with a craft background in 12x12 cardstock, and then I'm going to add a little bit of color to that, some spray with two kinds of white mist, so you can see the difference. This one, the second one here, is the Mister Huey from Studio Calico, which doesn't have sparkle, but it's a brighter shade of white. And the first one was the white chalkboard ink, which does have sparkle, but it's less color. And then some sand-colored glimmer mist as well. Once that was dry, I went ahead and added some ink to a strip of pattern paper that's going to go all the way across the page. And then went ahead and adhered that. That starts as a grounding point, and most of that pattern paper will be covered up. And then I've just got a second scrap, and this one is from crepe paper. That first piece of paper was from American Crafts. So I'm just going to use the photo to see where I'm going to place this. And then I have a die cut card, which is from a House of Three for Pink Paisley, the Daily Junk collection. And I'm going to use the photo to judge the placement again. And go ahead and put the picture down and the die cut card just slightly over the edge of that photo. So those are the biggest pieces on the layout, and then everything else is going to be small die cuts and little bits. This is the biggest die cut, and it's a Paper Whimsies flower from Sassafras. I really like the outside edge of this design, but I'm not too keen on the pink and yellow floral in the middle. So I'm going to build other things on top so that the edges show, but not the center. And I also wanted to add a little bit of grounding to the top of the page, so I'm using a strip of pattern paper to go almost across the whole of the top and cut it just a tiny little bit shorter, just so there's a little contrast there. And I'm adding that to the top. And as usual, I'm inking pretty much everything with vintage photo distress ink, just to bring the colors together since these are all from different collections. And a little bit of green up there in the corner. Then the same green pattern paper that's from American Crafts, in the same strip, I'm going to add above or on top of the big flower and the die cut card. So I like mixing the strips of paper with the big shapes, because the horizontal strips will ground things and make it a little bit less chaotic for the eye, even though I'm going to add quite a bit to this, which does make it slightly chaotic, but it'll be okay. There's a flower card, which is from Sassafras Last, and then this little butterfly die cut, which I tried to find a place for ages, and I did find a place for it, but not until the very end. I have these little flowers, which are from My Mind's Eye, and they came on the same card with a big flower and some little ones, so I've put one at the bottom and then the two small ones up at the top. And then some other bits and pieces. This word strip is from the same ephemera pack that the big pink die cut card came from, and it says "Be Yourself." And the Par Avion little plain die cut at the bottom is from Girls Paper. And this is an older die cut from the Making Memories teen collection, and it comes apart into 3 pieces. So I'm going to separate them across the page, one above a flower to kind of put it into a circle at the top, and then one so that the airplane is in a little circle as well. I did end up using the star, but not until the very, very end. I ended up adding it at the top left corner as well. So I've placed all of those, and now I'm going to go ahead and adhere them now that I've found pretty much where they're going to go. And that's about as much thinking as I do without glue. I don't like to put the whole layout together without glue, because I'll never remember where it goes back. And you may even notice I don't put these things back in exactly the same place where I picked them up. But that's just part of how I work. I don't have a particularly good memory for it, and then when I see it on the video I realize, oh, that wasn't really what I meant to do. So I'm pretty flexible with it once I have a general idea. So I'm just adding ink and adhesive to all these little die cuts. And now you'll see the center of that big flower that I didn't like so much is covered up, and so I just get the outside edges that I liked with the graph paper and the yellow shading. And I've got this layered, and then in a second I'll realize I didn't put any adhesive on the blue rectangle, so it's not going to stick. So I'll try that again. There we go. And now that will adhere there on that stack. And because I'm done stacking things up there, I'm just going to turn the layout over and cut off the excess. So now I need to, there's the butterfly, by the way, he did find a place. And I'm going to add the title. I'm using two different types of stickers. I'm using these chipboard letter stickers from Cosmo Cricut. They're really, really sticky, so I punch them out and leave the backing on because they're not going to move once you place them down. So just make sure that you're happy with where they go before you take the backing off. So I'll punch the middles of those letters out in just a minute. Then I'm using a second alphabet below that in a smaller font. These are from Lily Bee Design. I've been using these quite a lot recently. And these you can move around, so you can have a bit more freedom with where they go. Okay, so I've added the title and the journaling, and now I've just got a few tiny little things to finish the embellishment. I'm painting on some sand-colored glimmer mist to add some shadows and a little bit more color. And if you've been watching recently, I'm doing this technique with all the pages that are going into this particular album, and they all also have craft colored backgrounds. So everything else is different from page to page by using the same color for the background and the sprinkle plus the painted glimmer mist as a technique. I'm hoping we'll bring them all together even though they have different colors. I'm also going to add a little bit of the white again. This is the Studio Calico Mister Huey in white. I'm just going to sprinkle a few drops in the two spots of embellishment. And then even though everything is quite busy at this point, I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle, so I had some gems in either green or purple, and I've just added the green. I cut one strip and added part of it at the top of the page and the other part below the title. And that way having the same kind of embellishment in two places helps bring the two different centers of embellishment together in the design, so it's connected from the top to the bottom of the page. I can't wait to see what you do with this week's sketch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.